Bowie, built strong, built to last. From the entire team here at Bowie Industries, we would like to thank you for the purchase of your Bowie Hydromulcher. Before you get started with startup and operations, you'll need to review the safety video module and materials and any other safety instructions from your company. Whether you're seeding with our entry-level 300 skid pickup model or our Imperial truck mount system, you'll need to follow standard precautions during transport of your unit, while loading product, and when conducting applications. Always make sure to wear appropriate attire and all safety gear. Not only are these procedures necessary for the safety of those working with Bowie equipment, but they will ensure that you are receiving the maximum performance from your investment. Before you begin using your Bowie Hydromulcher, it's important to read the manual provided and to go over the complete video instructions thoroughly. When you receive delivery of your Bowie equipment, it will be shipped fully assembled, except the battery will be disconnected. Prior to startup, make sure that any packaged materials have been removed from the tank and engine areas. Before startup, we would like to familiarize you with several of the main components used during operation of your Hydromulcher. The agitator clutch, pump clutch, fuel tank, material fill hatch, the discharge spout located on the Lancer 500 and discharge tower gun on the 600 model, fill pipe, and your tower deck may be equipped with an optional hose reel. When getting started, perform the following. Start by checking your engine oil for the proper levels. It should be topped off at the time of delivery, but will need to be checked at the beginning of your application season and any time you operate the equipment. Next, fill the fuel tank. Install or reconnect your battery cables. All trailer models require that the wheel lug nuts are properly tightened. Check torque requirements specified in the manual. Now we're ready to start up the Lancer. The engine and pump controls should be in a neutral position. Then turn the starter key. Before filling the tank, do an inspection and make sure the unit is clean and free of any debris or other objects. Begin filling the tank with water. This can be done with a hose, hydrant, or natural water source utilizing a general-purpose fill pump. If necessary, get proper authorization to tap into a public water source. Once the water level has covered the agitator, as shown, you may start to add the wood fiber mulch. Engage the engine clutch controls to begin agitation. When loading fiber mulch, do the following. Using 50-pound bags of fiber mulch is most desirable for mixing up proper ratios. Use the following chart for proper mixture. Increase the agitation as required while you add more product. Now, add seed to the tank. Next, add the fertilizer. We recommend the use of a good quality granular or liquid fertilizer for best performance. Do not use an agricultural fertilizer. This may be added to the tank at any time when mixing. Again, as a safety reminder, please keep hands, feet, and body clear of the tank and moving parts. Careless loading and operation could lead to severe injury. All of your material, seed, and nutrients should be added before the water level reaches 3/4 full. Once all product has been introduced, continue filling the tank until the machine is full. Increase engine speed to full, thoroughly agitating the fiber mulch to an even slurry. We're now ready for application. It's important to understand that mulch is an important element in the germination of seeds and erosion control. Mulch improves retention of soil moisture and provides insulation from extreme heat. It also maintains integrity and will keep seed from being blown or washed away by the elements. When necessary, a tackifier may be added to enhance adhesion qualities of the mulch. The 500-gallon and 600-gallon Lancer are configured just slightly different from one another, in that the 600 is equipped with a tower discharge. When using an extension hose with a pressure control remote valve, a lubricant or tackifier may be added to the tank for use on longer hose runs to aid the steady flow of material. For every additional 50 feet of extension, you should reduce the amount of fiber material by 5% to avoid hose friction and inconsistent discharge. Several nozzle attachments are available for the extension hose or tower discharge and may be interchanged depending on the application. A fire hose nozzle for long-range discharge. Various V-jet fan nozzles to create specific spray patterns. And the hexagonal spread nozzle, which is best suited for multi-purpose applications. Your rate of application will vary according to factors like soil condition, job specs, and whether you're doing an application from the tower deck or extension hose. As a general rule, seeding can be simultaneously mulched with a wood fiber mixture rate of 2,000 pounds per acre. Seeding results and germination are directly related to the rate of fiber mulch and soil conditions, except when hydrosprigging. When doing an application from an extension hose, make sure that you have a firm stance and then open the valve to the desired flow rate. It's important to note that when using a remote hose valve, ensure the bypass is being used. Aiming into the ground, thoroughly blanket the area with material and spread thickness to create pockets of hydromulch as shown. This will achieve the best performance for germination. When discharging product from the tower gun, engage the clutch and coat the application area thoroughly. Set the engine throttle for adequate spray distance and flow rate. Be sure to spread the fiber mulch evenly across the surface. It's literally as if you're painting the ground. As a note about safety, the driver should always watch ahead for any hazards and never drive your equipment on severe slopes. Upon emptying the tank of product, make sure to close the valve, disengage the clutch, idle the engine, and cut the power. Then proceed to reload your tank for additional applications, or if finished for the day, prepare to do cleanup. To ensure long life of your buoy equipment and avoid costly downtime from premature repairs, always clean your equipment inside and out after use. Fertilizers are extremely corrosive, and you will need to flush the tank, pump, hose, and nozzles thoroughly. If you have the flush tank option, this will provide clean water to rinse out the pump and discharge hose while bypassing the tank slurry. You'll be able to clean the pump and hoses without completely flushing the main storage tank. When both levers are pulled back, as shown, you'll have control of flushing the system. It's important to note, to close the system, push both levers forward toward the tank. Now we'll look at other maintenance procedures that you'll need to complete on a scheduled basis to ensure best performance. The following chart is an overall checklist of the items that will need maintenance daily, monthly, and semi-annually. On a daily basis, make sure that you inspect the following. Inspect that your air cleaner and filter are clean and in good shape. Check engine oil and add if necessary. Check your fuel levels daily as needed, and check the fuel filter for buildup. Due to ethanol being phased into the fuel supply across the country, you will need to use a fuel additive as recommended by your engine manufacturer for best performance and to avoid fuel problems when equipment has been idle for a while. Grease points are conveniently marked around the unit and should be maintained on a daily basis with a standard grease gun. It is very important to lubricate all of these points and follow all the maintenance procedures as necessary. The buoy gear pump must be lubricated every 4 hours during operation. A failure to do so could result in voiding the manufacturer's warranty or lead to premature equipment failures. In addition, you should always check these safety items daily: safety chains, breakaway switch, hitch and trailer connections, lights, tires for proper inflation or any damage, and wheel lug nuts. Proper wheel mounting and torque is very important to prevent loose wheels, broken studs, or the possible separation of wheel and axle during transportation. With a torque wrench, you should tighten each fastener in the pattern shown. First 20 to 25 pounds, then 50 to 60 pounds, and finally 85 to 95 pounds, all the way around the wheel. Check and re-torque after the first 25 miles of operation, and then again after 75 miles. Monthly maintenance items include: change the oil as specified by your engine manufacturer. Use the specified grade as recommended in the owner's manual. Change the fuel filter every 30 days during the application season. Inspect the battery and connections. Semi-annually, check the chassis and wheel bearings. And finally, inspect the tires for proper inflation or any damage. Make sure that the rim size and tire contour meet specifications for your weight load as shown in the Tire and Rim Association yearbook. When you're done for the season, conduct the following winterization procedures. Clean the inside of your tank. Then drain. Clean the entire machine before storage. Grease each fitting of the gear pump with 15 pumps from the grease gun. Next, start the engine and turn the pump a few revolutions. Grease all fittings and spray with chain lubricant to protect rollers from corrosion. Leave all ball and gate valves open halfway. Add fuel stabilizer to the fuel tank and run the engine for 15 minutes. Uncouple the battery and move it indoors. There are just a couple of other things to note regarding the drive assemblies, belts, and chains. You will need to properly lubricate the pillow block bearing on the jack shaft assembly located here. The Bowie pump is a positive displacement pump and should never be operated without proper material level in the tank. You should always agitate slurry with a homogeneous mixture to avoid having fertilizer settle in the bottom of the tank prior to pump operation. Excessive amounts of fertilizer passing through the pump housing could cause extreme wear to the pump, so be conscientious about keeping it as clean as possible. Drive chains should have proper tension. If one becomes loose, remove a half or full link as needed. Packing glands should be tightened if leaking after proper lubrication. This should be done with an empty tank. Use the spanner wrench provided when making adjustments. The last thing we'd like to cover under startup and maintenance is some basic troubleshooting information. From time to time, your unit may have some startup or performance issue that you will need to address. If the engine will not turn over at startup, check the following. It could be low battery charge, an ignition switch, a starter switch, the starter solenoid, or a starter motor. You will need to check these items and replace if necessary. If the unit will crank up but won't start, you may have an improper throttle setting, or no spark to the engine. Check your fuel supply and check for a clean fuel filter. Make sure that your engine settings adhere to the instructions in the manual. Or check for a fouled plug and replace if necessary. For rough running, check and replace a clogged fuel filter. Check for carburetor problems. Clean or replace if faulty. Check your plugs, plug wires, and ignition switch. In extreme cases, you may have a faulty engine valve or rings, which may call for service work on your unit. And if your battery will not keep a charge, you may need to replace it. During application, should material quit spraying, check for clogs at the following. Turn everything off and check the nozzle. the valving at the bypass, the sump box inside the tank, or the pump inlet. Each of these require removing any debris and flushing the system. Once cleared, you may start the equipment and continue application. Thank you for taking the time to review this material on your Bowie hydromulcher system. We suggest that you look over the material from time to time and make sure that any new operators are familiar with the content before using your Bowie equipment. Should you have any questions not answered in the video or operator's manual, please call your local distributor or give us a call at Bowie headquarters for further assistance. Bowie, built strong, built to last.